Good day, everyone. In this video, we are going to continue the discussion on the large intestine. In the previous video, we have introduced the lungs disorder, and because the large intestine is the coupled organs of the lung, so we're going to introduce the disorders of the large intestine here. The function of the large intestine is receiving and conveying the waste materials. So that's the turbid in the small intestine, and you absorb the fluids, forms the feces. So the problems, the disorders of the large intestine will mainly focus on the feces, the bowel movements, and the body fluid. Also, because of the lung and the large intestine are paired organs. So although some of the symptoms we didn't mention, it is also possible to have a it is also possible for a patient with the lungs problem, the lungs disorder syndrome, has the disorder of the bowel movement. The first one is the damp heat in the large intestine. So because the large intestine, the most important function is related to the bowel movement. So this will relate to this area: abdominal pain, diarrhea. So that's something related to the large intestine. Foul smelling, yellows or blood, mucus. That's from the heat. Burning sensation around the anus. Thirsty, scanty, yellow urine. These are all due to the heat and damp heat. The damp heat. Where can you see the dampness? That's from the diarrhea itself. It is manifests as the dampness. Also from the coating. The greasy coating is dampness. The mucus in the stool also dampness. So this can happen. The manifestation: abdominal pain, diarrhea, bloody mucus in the stool. This in Western medicine, this syndrome sometimes can happen in patients with colonitis, in all kinds of inflammation in the colons. Excessive heat in the large intestine. So this syndrome is very similar to the previous one, but this syndrome is more focused on the heat. It also will result in the abnormal of bowel movements. So the patient will present with constipation or foul-smelling watery diarrhea that's due to the heat. The patient can present with high-grade fever or tidal fever. This tidal fever is different from the tidal fever from insufficiency. This tidal fever will be more pronounced in the afternoon. In more severe cases, the patient can present with unconsciousness. What happens to this is the heat affects the heart. Excessive heat affects the heart. Forceful pulse, rapid, and from the treatments, if the patient presents with constipation, The treatment for this is very important to release the stool. That's because that's where the heat stay. The heat is something formless, something formed the stool. So in order to reduce the heat in the body, you need to reduce the stool. Then the heat will have nowhere to sit. That's how you can relieve the heat. This theory we have introduced in the basic theory. The manifestations is the abnormal fullness or abdominal pain, constipation, symptoms of interior excessive heat, dryness due to fluid insufficiency. So this situation is only refers to the dryness, and this is the problem. This problem may present as dry stool and other fluid insufficiency symptoms. Dry stool, that's because the large intestine, the main function of large intestine is forming the feces. Yellow coating, that's due to the heat. Dry stool like sheep's droppings. So if you have seen the sheep stool, you will see that's one piece by one piece. That's because of the dryness. There's no fluid there. If there's fluid in the stool, it will formed or it will be diarrhea if more fluid. So this syndrome mostly focus on the body fluid, the dryness. The patient also may present with dry mouth. Deficiency code of the large intestine. Where does the deficiency code come from? It can be the coldness of the internal organs, and then it presents as diarrhea. So this deficiency code is not from the large intestine itself. It can be from other organs and then affects the yang qi in the large intestine. The patient may present with diarrhea, pain, bowel pain. That's because of deficiency. Alleviates with warmth or pressure. That's also a sign of deficiency, so they prefer to be pressed. Fatigue, also deficiency. So these are the manifestations of deficiency codes of the large intestine. So in this video, we're going to use a few minutes to introduce the disorders of the large intestine. Thank you for your attention.